All right. So today we're going to talk about the momentum chart. I just love this class because it shows the purpose of what the momentum chart is actually for. And sometimes, when we're going through the process, we're trying to get some of this stuff to stick that I could use it and take it with me. But sometimes you have to see these things a couple of times. Or maybe you've seen it a couple of times and then it was always like, I don't know if y'all had a favorite movie and you've watched it 10 times, and every time you watch it, you see, "Oh, I didn't notice that before." So, it's the same thing here. Same thing here. We're gonna go ahead and make sure y'all are looking at my screen. Okay. So, let's switch to the momentum chart here. Okay. So, I think for the most part, let's talk about, what these elements are for, and then we'll talk about how the totality of the chart helps us in an analysis. And I will tell you, I could do it on the naked chart, right? I could trade on the naked chart. I like being able to refer to the momentum because the more I am able to go back and check to see, well, is price actually moving up or has price really broken through, right? And I could use this on this chart and we'll get into it now. So I really don't mess a lot unless I want to check certain elements of structure or why is price breaking here, and then y'all know that I could use that daily, weekly, and monthly indicator here to help me draw important areas of structure. But for the most part, the only thing that I'm really referring to is these three indicators. Now, this moving average is a 13 moving average, right? I guess if I was going to change it, I would change this from 13 to 50. But what we're trying to do here, and the reason why it's 13, the 13 also helps us with recognizing a volume. If you use the five is right on top of the candle, right? And it's not giving you a fair assessment about what current volume is. Y'all feel me on that? That's the reason why they're using the 13. Everybody understand? So
Yes.
here you see this downward movement, right? And you can see the space in between the candles and the 13. I know that in this particular moment, I have some sure enough volume on this downward movement. Y'all feel me? So that if I really want to get an increase or decrease in volume here from a purview here, that's the reason why, I wouldn't change this from a 13 to a 50. 13 is going to give me a more accurate reading on what current volume is. Y'all understand that? And the 50, let's not get it confused. The 50 is the ooh na na of moving averages, right? But if I if I'm coming to the momentum. I am coming here to get an idea about, let's see, the acceleration or momentum of volume and confirmation of particular trend that I've seen on our MetaTrader 4 chart. All right. So the momentum indicator is a technical analysis tool used to determine the strength or weakness of price. The momentum indicator is a technical analysis tool used to determine the strength or weakness of price. So if I'm looking at a downward movement, but the momentum hasn't crossed 100, then I'm probably not ready to press sell here yet. If I'm coming here and it is below the 100, but the indicator itself is flat, then and I'm really maybe I've missed the move. Y'all understand that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the stochastic indicator. The stochastic indicator is a technical indicator that shows how closing price compares to its price range over a set period of time. And they believe that this is most effective in slow moving trends. Like if I'm looking here for an upper movement, right? All of a sudden I have a flat, this is flat, and there's no space here. So is price getting ready to reject in this area and head in a downward movement? Now, the components of the stochastic consist of two lines, these two lines here, the green and the red here. The K percentage, This is the fast current indicator. And the D percentage is a moving average of the K acting as a signal line, right? So that sounds very complicated, but I will tell you this. If the K is on top, you're usually in an upper movement. If the D percentage is on top, you're usually in a downward position. Y'all feel me?
So the K is green and the D is red?
Yes. When the K and the D signal drop below the 20 here, this means that price is being oversold. If the signal is above the 80, this means that price is being overbought. Now, the good thing I like is the fact that whenever the stochastic is showing that price is being oversold or overbought, I know that eventually price is coming into the sweet spot. The sweet spot is between the 80 and the 20. The more space that I have in between here, right, the more volume there is. So if you look at this, right, and I see the space, y'all see the space? Look at the candles in this period, right? See how they're moving up and how, they're healthy? That also represents, that agrees with this upper movement. Y'all feel me? Well, Derek, price is heading in this downward movement, right? And then it doesn't look like price in this case is lining up with the candles. It does. Remember the components or the component description. Remember this. Consists of two lines. The K, the fast current indicator, and the D is a moving average of the K, acting as a signal line. So it could be, even though it shows to be healthy, the momentum of the downward movement is not in good representation of how much money is actually in the downward movement. But anytime when you use these things, when you use these indicators, what is the fallback that you have to always remember? See if somebody
They lag. They're lagging.
Lagging.
Okay. The lagging is also a component, but it's not the component. What is the most important thing that we have to remember when we're looking at these indicators? Most important, very important. Price is always king. Price is always king. Y'all feel me on that?
Yes, sir.
This is not a true depiction of what this is showing us, because this space between price and the moving average shows me that there's money here. The size of the candles show me that there's money here. Y'all feel me on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a quick question, Derek. What does the K and the D stand for? They're just some arbitrary letters that were chosen. I know what you say it means, but I'm saying the letter K and the letter D. Is there a reason for it?
It has
Okay.
nothing to do. I just know what they're called,
Gotcha.
right?
Okay.
And you know what, Tammy? Now you listen to me and you go take, this is the medicine, unfortunately, that you have to open your mouth and take. But I want everybody to listen to what I'm about to say. She sparked something, and Kim, subconsciously, I was waiting for a question like this.
Yeah.
But I want everybody to listen to me. Tammy just asked a question for general information. And that is cool, Tammy. Don't be in your feelings on this shit. Just listen to what I have to say. That has nothing to do with us making money. You feel me?
Yes, I do.
Now, if you want to arbitrarily go sit down somewhere on a sunny, rainy afternoon and say, damn, I wonder what that means, and you want to research that, you can. But at the end of the day, why they were chosen, I don't know. However, it leads to nowhere fast about helping me make money. Or maybe in your investigation, you could say, hey, this is interesting. I'm going to bring it to the group. I dig it. But at the end of the day, what we want to know is this red line over this green line. This is telling me that this is moving in a downward movement. Now, some of y'all thinking, oh, Derek's been an asshole. Maybe so. However, you guys need to understand, I can make this whole platform be a lot more complicated than it is.
I didn't mean to take it to that level. Okay.
You know what
I'm
I mean?
sorry.
And no. I don't want you apologizing. I'm just saying what I'm telling you is as you go into your studies, you need to figure out what on here is helping me make money. That's not one time have the only, and I guess it's, and you guys that have been with me the longest, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only history that I really get into about any particular instrument is the fifth. Other than that, and the only reason, Kim, why I get into the fifth, Tammy, why I get into the fib when I actually teach the working of the fib is because of the fact that I have to let people know, hey, they've been using this shit since the 70s. I mean, that's how powerful or long-standing the fib is. And you really have to get into it because if you know the fib, you have to talk, and I'm getting in the weeds on this and I apologize, but you really have to understand, like the fib, when it was first done, there was no 50 line because if you know how the fib works, two lines in consecutive order add up to that third line. And if you use the 50, it throws the math off. But we'll get into that the first Saturday in March. The first Saturday in March, we're going to have a class on the Fibonacci. That's going to be a good class too. Kim, we hadn't done that probably class in the Fib in about 2 years.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into it first Saturday in March. Write it down. So, and I don't, all I'm saying is don't keep your eye on the ball, right? That being said, if it helps you make money on whatever you're studying, then more power to you. And I didn't mean to get in a rant on that, but I think it's very important as a group, as we move forward, that you have to concentrate on, hey, how do I get my 20 pips? And the things that I am, is it helping me as an individual? Now, if your curiosity will not let you go past it, then by all means, do what you got to do. All I'm saying is there's no need to walk down turn down a dark alley just to go down there and get your brains beat in by a fight that you don't have to fight. That's all I'm saying. And I hope that you hope that you are taking that as a helpful statement, not me just being a prick. And that's not my intention, although sometimes it comes out that way. And that's not my intention at all. I want you to keep your eyes on the ball. That's all. That's it. Okay. So the RSI also has a 13 period on its K and D signals as well. Now, the RSI is a momentum indicator that measures the magnitude of recent price changes to analyze overbought or oversold conditions. So when is the RSI best effective? Come on, y'all. If you step in it, I'm going to let you know and we move on. But come on. We need to have interaction here so everybody can learn and we can get this thing done so we can make some money. Let's try it again. RSI. That's what this is a momentum indicator that measures the magnitude of recent price changes to analyze overbought or oversold conditions. So the RSI is best effective in what conditions?
When trying to confirm if price is overperforming?
Well, yes, but it is analyzing the overbought or oversold conditions. In other words, if price moves here and now all of a sudden it's being overbought, this is Kim, Richard, Daniel. This is where I say, hey, I'd like the RSI to be plus 60. Or if it's being oversold, I like the RSI to be minus 40 and below, because what it is doing is, just like it says in the definition, measuring the magnitude. How much horsepower do I actually have in this pair at this point? So if price is moving above yesterday's high, then we start grading our probability score, right, of success. So if price is overperforming, but I see the RSI at 55, then I'm probably getting ready to get into a season of rejection. Yes?
Yes.
Or if I see that price is being oversold, but I see the RSI at 45, then I'm probably getting ready to see price reject going in an upper movement at this point. However, if I see price break below 20 and I see the RSI at 31, then now the magnitude for price to continue in a downward movement is very high. Or if I see price breaking yesterday's high and I look and I see that the RSI is at 68, 69, then I know that the magnitude for price continuing in the upper movement is extremely high. Y'all feel me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this is why I take, we here in this platform, we take this whole chart as one big indicator, because I need to see, well, look at this this picture here. Now, prices drop below the 100, but I got a straight line on the stochastic, and I have a straight line here on the RSI. Something is telling me that that downward movement has halted. And then I could take a quick look here and see that, we probably had profit taking here, which is the case probably because of the fact that this was the end of the day or the end of the trading week, and everybody took their profit and got out. Well, the stochastic and the RSI both agree to that statement. Y'all feel me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that the tools that we have, we are using proper, right? I don't want to take a hammer to screw in a screw, right? I probably want to take a Phillips head or a drill to do that. So I want to, even though I have the tools, I want to make sure that I am using them in this proper content. Everybody understand? So does anybody have a question about the momentum at this point?
I don't have a question, but I will say that what have been in the past a big nemesis for me is probably the RSI, and you explained it clearly. It gives you that comfort level of probability, whether you should get in that trade. And in the past, I think I forced the issue, and if I relied on the RSI a little more as far as the way you just explained it, my trading would have been a lot more successful.
By definition, let's look at our minute trader. By definition, where price is right now, the RSI means absolutely nothing to me. Although it's one of the boxes that we check because we don't want it in conflict with price, but to use it right now, it means absolutely nothing to me. By definition, I'll read it again. The RSI is a momentum indicator that measures the magnitude of recent price changes to analyze overbought or oversold condition. So is price being oversold or overbought right now based on the
No.
picture?
No.
No. So right now, the RSI, the only thing that it is telling me that, yes, it agrees that price is going in a downward movement as well. But to really get the ooh-na-na as far as what the RSI could do for me right now, I can't use it. Not effectively. Now, what the RSI can't tell me if the tide is changing for an upward or downward movement while it's in here. Once price starts overperforming, that's when I go and look at it. Like if price, okay, so if price is breaking out here and it's here, right? But I'm looking for price to go in the upper movement, but the RSI is telling me it's at 52. Well, shit. The upper movement at this point is almost dead. It's lukewarm. It's agreeing with price, but as far as for me to invest here on the upper movement, it is probably not a good idea. I'm probably looking for rejection. Y'all feel me on that? Now, Kim, I don't think I've ever explained the RSI as such as, just based on the definition, the RSI doesn't help me right here.
Right.
In this
that
case,
was
the
good.
ADX is going to be more effective, but that's another story. The ADX is not part of the subject matter. So does anybody else have a question on the momentum chart? So everybody got it.
One more quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Is there a point where you would look, let's say you're looking at your trade, 4 hour does not have any structure, no wick. You go to the 15 and there's no wick, but your other indicators like your ADX, plus D, minus D may not be where you want it to be, but you go to your RSI and everything's a green light on your RSI. Would you use that to get into your trade?
No, because I have to check every box. No box can be unchecked.
Okay.
You
Got it.
know, and again, and Richard,
Yeah.
that's a good question. Hold on one second. That's a good question because every indicator is intended to cover me in my analysis. So not only price, not only indicator, but if there's something missing and I'm not using it, then I'm not covered because that means there could be some market condition and the reason why that box can't get charted or can't be checked. And then I'm in the trade and then all of a sudden I'm trying to figure out why I'm stuck at 5 pips
Yes.
or why I'm at -8 pips or whatever. What were you gonna say, Kim?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say, and I may have heard Richard wrong, is when he gave his explanation and he mentioned, and you tell me if I heard you wrong, Richard. He mentioned going out to the 15-minute and no wick on the candle, but the ADX and all of that wasn't jiving. We're not looking at that on the 15-minute,
No, that's
correct?
not what he meant.
Okay, all
That's
right.
not what he meant.
And I guess the reason I asked that question is that sometimes I guess what I've seen, if you're in a prime value position and there's space, the indicators to me have to catch up. But if all the momentum indicators are showing and going in the right directions, that gives me a big question mark sometimes. And it makes me antsy where I want to get in that trade, and I have gotten in it sometimes. And sometimes I may too. I've gotten burnt, but that's the reason I asked.
Well, everybody, I want everybody listening because Richard brings up a good point. And Richard, this is that English stuff, in
Gotcha.
in the analogy of the cue and the cue ball. This is that English thing. So y'all listen to this very closely. If price is coming down from structure or coming up from structure, sometimes it takes a minute for the indicators to get in concert with price. So here's a rule. Christy, listen to me. Because every time I think about trading against the trend, I think about you. Price has to be trending. If it's coming up or down from structure, I don't care which way it is trending. And this is trading against the trend. Please listen. This is trading against the trend, right? Trading against the trend coming up from structure. Now, when I say coming up from structure, I mean coming up from here. I'm not saying you come up here and then you get in here. No, because there's probably a market reset at that point. And if it's not trending at all or not trending in the right direction by here, and again, this is the English part, then you might have missed the move or you have to wait. If price is not trending at all, I don't care what any of these other indicators say. If price ain't trending at all, you do not get in the trade. But Derek, what if price is trending in a downward movement, but price is heading up? Then yes, that qualifies. Now, hold on for a second. Let's say price is like in the middle of the trading zone. Just giving a scenario, but it's still trending in a downward movement. Ladies and gentlemen, that is divergence, and we don't trade in divergence.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
How do we determine that price is trending?
Very good. So, see here the ADX?
Yes.
So this first number, the ADX, measures volume. See this 20 here in parentheses?
Yes.
That's our water line. So if the ADX is above 20, which it is here, one of these indicators has to also be above 20 in order for price to be trending in one direction or another. The positive DI measures buyers. The negative DI measures sellers. Now, one of these indicators has to be above 20 in order for it to be trending in an up or downward movement. Another way we could tell is if all of these lights here on the GG trend line are green, then price is trending in an upward movement. If they're all red, then price is trending in a downward movement. I like when the GG trend line and the ADX are both trending in the same direction.
Right.
If they're not, we have a conflict here. That is the definition of diversions,
Right.
or one of them. So, and you know what? Let's see. Okay, here's a great picture. So this blue line here, Daniel, represents the ADX.
Right.
This green line represents the positive D, or the plus DI, right? The
Right.
plus DI.
Right.
The red line represents the negative DI.
Right.
See this dotted line right here?
Right.
That is your water line. So the blue line, the ADX, and the positive DI are both above the 20, which means that it is trending in an upper movement. And we know this to be true because price is above the 50 here.
Right.
Okay. But if this green line was below and the red line was above, then we would have to assume that price is trending in a downward movement.
Right.
Now, I've never seen this before, but if the green line and the red line are above the 20 and the blue line isn't, then price is still not trending, because in order to walk across the street, mommy or daddy needs to help you walk across the street. This blue line represents mommy and daddy. If mommy and daddy are not above the 20, then nobody walks across the street. Got me?
Yes. Thank you.
And I guarantee you, someone else had a question about how do I know price is trending. That's why I like people to come off the mic. If you have a question, ask, because you're not just probably helping you, you're probably helping one of your classmates as well. So, you know, you don't know, Dan, you probably bless somebody. I appreciate your contribution. You too, Mr. Richard. You too, Tam. You too, Dimitri. So any other questions about the momentum? No? All right. You know, I don't promote the YouTube channel. I don't promote it because I'm just, you know, hopefully that the algorithm catches one of these things and this thing starts to get hot. But you guys that are wanting to see some, there's a lot of classes that are on the YouTube channel. There's a lot. And I don't like promoting it because, again, I want the algorithm to catch hold and I want people to actually look at the videos. So, I mean, it's there. It took me a long time to get there, but it's there. And all that information and what we need. Do I record every class? No, I don't. But we're going to start doing some podcast stuff on trading with some of my friends. I'm trying to get it to where I can get my man Mitchell to come on once a month and come talk, you know, just have a conversation. Y'all, the dude is stanky rich, but he knows a lot more about the geopolitical aspects of trading, and I think that's going to be some great conversation. But Mitchell, hey, and fellas, y'all can understand this. Mitchell got 4 girls in his house, not even including his wife and his mother-in-law, by the way. Y'all pray for the brother. All right, y'all. I hope everybody enjoyed the class. I hope it was helpful. I'm going to get this up today on the YouTube channel. So if you want to come back and look at this class, more than happy to do so. That's what it's there for. It is there for you. And if you have some questions as you go through it, save them for tomorrow's Market Watch class. And we'll do our best to answer the question and give you some solutions to make this thing a little easier. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your Valentine's Day. Have a happy Sunday fun day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Have a good one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Derek.
You're welcome.